Okay, so let's just dive right in because I think pretty much all of us have been here. You're connecting with someone, everything feels like it's clicking, and then, boom, they just pull away. And all of a sudden, that casual interest you had morphs into this intense, almost obsessive focus. Funny how you were totally fine until they got distant, right?
So what is the deal with that? Why do we do this? Why is it that the second someone we like becomes unpredictable, our brain just flips a switch and decides they are suddenly the most valuable person on the planet? It's a super frustrating pattern, but believe me, it is not random. There's a very clear psychological process going on under the hood.
And here's the thing we have to get straight right from the very beginning. That intense feeling, that I have to have them impulse that gets switched on when they go cold, that is not a sign of true love. It's not a soulmate connection, it's a powerful neurological trigger. And honestly, if you don't understand how it works, you could get stuck in this painful cycle for years.
We can actually give this a name, the pull-away paradox. It's that totally backward switch that happens in our heads where getting less attention from someone actually creates more desire in us. It makes no sense on the surface, so let's break down what's actually happening in your brain. Think of your brain as having two different settings. When things are going well, you're in connection mode. Everything's calm, you're just focused on building a rapport, enjoying their company. Your brain feels safe and secure. But the minute they pull away, your brain flips into chase mode. And now, the focus is completely on the uncertainty. Your brain gets anxious, obsessed, and the goal isn't connection anymore, it's pursuit. So, what's the first engine that powers this chase mode? Well, it's a trigger that's buried deep in our psychology, the scarcity trigger. This isn't some new age idea. It's a fundamental principle that marketers and economists have been using for decades. And guess what? It applies just as powerfully to our relationships.
The principle itself is super simple. I mean, think about it. Whether it's a limited edition pair of shoes or a person's attention, our brain is hardwired to automatically assign more value to things that feel scarce or hard to get. So when someone's attention goes from being abundant to suddenly being scarce, your brain's valuation system just goes into complete overdrive.
You know, psychologists have a technical term for this. It's called intermittent reinforcement. And the easiest way to think about it is a slot machine. A slot machine doesn't pay out every time, right? The reward is totally random and unpredictable. And it's that very unpredictability that keeps people glued to it, pulling that lever over and over. When someone gives you inconsistent attention, a great text today, radio silence for 3 days, then another amazing conversation, they're basically putting your brain on a slot machine schedule.
And here's what that looks like on a chemical level. Sure, consistent attention gives you a nice steady little hit of dopamine. No attention, of course, gives you next to nothing. But an unpredictable reward, where sometimes you get their attention and sometimes you don't, that sends your dopamine levels through the roof. Dopamine is the hormone of motivation, of seeking, and it's screaming at you, keep going, the big prize could come at any second.
So, the key takeaway here is this. That feeling of obsession, that intense longing you feel, that isn't a sign of deep, meaningful attachment. It's your brain, caught in a biochemical reward loop, just chasing the next dopamine hit that their validation might provide. But that dopamine loop, that's really only half of the story. There's another force at play here that's just as powerful when someone pulls away. Our deep, primal fear of rejection and the threat that poses to our ego.
This is one of those truly stunning findings from neuroscience. When you experience social rejection, getting ignored, left on red, broken up with, the parts of your brain that light up are the exact same ones that process physical pain. So that feeling of being crushed or heartbroken, it isn't just a metaphor. Your brain is literally interpreting it as a real injury.
And because rejection feels like a genuine attack, your ego flips into self-preservation mode. The chase suddenly becomes way less about how amazing that other person is and way more about just soothing the pain of that rejection. Winning them back becomes the only thing that can prove to yourself that you're still worthy, the only thing that can restore your sense of stability. It's not about the person anymore, it's about getting validation. This quote just cuts right to the heart of it. Just take a second and really think about that. Is it actually them you miss so intensely, or is it the feeling of being chosen, of being wanted, of being validated? So often, the chase is just a desperate scramble to get that feeling back, not the person.
Okay, so we've diagnosed the problem, right? We've got the scarcity trigger, the dopamine loops, the ego threat. So how do we fix it? Well, we need a system, a clear, rational framework that lets us take back control. Let's call it the detachment operating system.
This system is built on 3 simple, non-negotiable rules. First, you have to learn to separate that intense feeling of chemistry, which, as we know, is often just a dopamine spike, from genuine long-term compatibility. Second, stop judging the connection by how intense the good moments are. Instead, start measuring the consistency of their effort and their respect. And third, and this is the most important one, if their effort drops, you must withdraw your emotional investment. This isn't about playing games, it's about basic emotional self-respect.
So what does dropping effort actually look like? Well, here are the classic signs. The texting pattern just suddenly changes. You realize, hey, wait a minute, I'm the one initiating everything. Any plans you try to make become super vague and non-committal, always a maybe or a we'll see. And you're just left with that constant draining feeling of getting mixed signals. These aren't clues to try harder, they are signals to pull back.
And this brings us to the core mantra of this whole system. And it's so simple. Attention should flow where effort flows. That's it. It's a simple rule to protect your peace and your energy. Don't pour your valuable attention into a black hole of indifference. Direct it towards the people and things where the effort comes right back to you. So, what's the ultimate goal with all of this? Look, it's not about learning some secret tricks to win someone over. It's about rewiring your own internal system so that you prioritize your own emotional clarity and your own stability above everything else.
And that right there is the ultimate reframe. The real victory isn't figuring out how to manipulate a situation to get a person back who made you feel anxious in the first place. The true growth happens when you realize you have the power to just walk away, to choose your own peace over their validation. That is getting your power back.
And I'll leave you with this final thought. Use this as your new filter moving forward. The kind of connection that's actually worth your time and energy is not one that sends you on an emotional roller coaster of dopamine highs and rejection lows. The right person, the right connection brings a sense of calm and stability to your life. They don't activate your anxiety, they're the safe harbor where it finally gets to rest.